Hello friends, today I'm going to guide you through the scandipwa local installation on Linux machines. So let's start right away. First things first, we go to docs.scandipwa.com, and from here we open the setup instructions Docker on Linux. We scroll to before you start and start reading it through. First of all, we need to make sure we have an account on GitHub. Let's check it out. I go to github.com and open it up, and let's see. Oh, I have an account. I'm signed in as Alfreds Gankins. You will have a different account. Next, we have to make sure we have an SSH key. Let's go here. Oh yes, we have the SSH key. This is cool. This is great. Now it's time to go to scandipwa-base and make sure we have forked the repository. So I press on the fork and let's open this up. Well, this is my fork, and from here I can start. Well, I need to press here and clone with the SSH. I select the Git URL, and now I open my terminal, and yeah, you can see that I have created a folder called my project underneath the home folder of my user. This is great. You can create whatever folder you want because the Docker will run from any place on your machine. It's time to clone the project, so I write git clone and the URL of my project, which I copied, so it's Alfreds Gankins scandipwa-base, and voila, we have the project cloned, scandipwa-base. We can get into it, and yeah, looks like it's all good. Sure. Now it's time to continue. So we have forked and cloned the repository. The cloning wasn't really a necessary part, we just did it because it was more convenient for us. Now it's time to make sure we have the Git and Docker Compose installed. Well, as we already knew, the Git was available, but just to make sure, git minus version outputs us the latest version of the Git, and the Docker Compose -v should output us the current version of Docker Compose. So we have both installed. If you do not have one of them installed, please follow this instruction or this instruction. It should help you. Now it's time to create a folder, and we already did this, so we advise you to create a folder in the projects, but I created a folder called let me showcase you. I created a folder my project, and now in there you can clone a directory. As it's written here, it's not required to have var vbb www public. It's not required, so you can have whatever folder for your project. Next is to make sure that max map count is set correctly on your host machine. In order to do it, you can follow this instruction, or I will set additional command as well. So let's go to FAQ and copy the issue related to let's see, should be Elasticsearch. Yeah, so let's copy this command. So this one, to set max p count, copying this, pasting it here, and the same for the max file descriptor count here. Very good. If you notice that your command failed, this could be related to your Elasticsearch version or to the virtual. Well, yes, it's time to set the max map count to Elasticsearch for Elasticsearch to work. So you copy this and need to make sure we run this as root. So let's go there and run it as root here. I'll type in sudo and paste in the command. Execute it. Very good. Now we continue, and the next step is to make sure we have aliases set up. So let's copy those aliases and let's put them in our bash configs and bash profiles. I will use nano editor. You can use your favorite. So I put it into my bash profile. So you can see I already have some aliases, but those are from my different projects. I will put them right nearby, and yeah, they should work pretty well. And I'm saving this, exiting out, and now I need to source the bash profile, or you can also use this command to do it. Okay, very good. So we have imported the aliases. Let's see if they work. So dc should output us, yeah, that's a good output to see. Now it's time to make sure we have a valid composer auth set. Let's check if we have one already set. Yeah, we can type in the command and you should see the output. But for me, it's something secret, so it shouldn't be exposed. Very well. Now, let's make sure if you don't have one set. Now it's time to check for the composer auth. So let's copy this command and try to execute it. Well, I have nothing in my output, which means that I have to go to marketplace.magento.com. I have to log in. I have to open my profile. From there, I have to click on access keys. From here, I need to press on create new access key, whatever name. Let's call it the test. And this test will be available, so we just copy it and let's use the following template for it. Yes, in order to set it, let's create, for example, let's type export composer auth and set what it was inside. I just can paste it. Yeah, but it's the wrong value because we have templates here. Let's replace what we had in those template strings to the real values, so the private key, and now we also will replace the public key. Let me do it. So the public key also goes away and is replaced with a real value. Now I press enter and I check, and I see that my composer auth contains my credentials for repository.magento.com and username and password, which I took from a marketplace. Cool. So this is also done. Now let's enter the mapping of localhost to our domain. Should be very easy to do. I just paste in the command and type in the password. Oh. So I'm just pasting in the command and it's done. Let's cut the file to see if it's changed. And it is. You can see I have multiple entries like this, but it's still fine. At least one should be there. Now it's time to start the installation. Well, we have already cloned the repository, but if you have not, you can clone it at this step. So just replace this with your username if you had a fork. If you don't have a fork, just clone the original, or you can clone via the HTTPS, which I do not recommend. So now let's check the branch. The branch in ScandiPWA base in the folder we have created should be 2.x stable, which it is. which means that we are all good and this command can be skipped. Now it's time to generate the self-signed certificate, and to do it we need to run the make cert command. So I run it, and it will ask me to input the password 6 times. This password is not your system password, it's any phrase you would like to encrypt your password with. So I will take the simplest one I can really imagine, and I'm inputting it 6 times, and this should be final. No, this one. And here we go, we have generated the certificate. Note, the certificate will appear in opt, cert, and here. And this is the generated one. And the one you need is scandipwa CA perm. And let's check if I'm right. Yes, it is correct. And now it's time to add this certificate to a trusted one. I'm on Arch Linux, so the addition to trusted certificates might be different on your host, but for me, it's this guide. In order to do this, I need to run trust unsure, and I will. So I run trust unsure, and I put the path to the certificate. Should be done. And that's pretty much it for me. Yes, that's cool. If I will have any issues in browsers, I will be able to run this command or this command, and it will help me to make sure my certificate works. Very good. So I have now a trusted certificate, which I have self-signed. And yeah, as said here, sometimes it will require to reload the Google Chrome. Possible thing. So if your Google Chrome will not work, you can reload it, and if it still will continue to work, you can proceed to FAQ and see here the error certificate revoked, and find out how to resolve it. Very good. Now continue. We go to we have generated the certificate, we have imported it. It's now time to pull the necessary Docker containers. So because we already have imported the aliases, I will execute a simple command here. It will be dcf pull, and as you may see, it will start pulling images. For me, it's very quick because I have already done this once. For you, it might take a little while, and it will look like this when downloading. So you may see that some of my images are a little outdated, which is great, so you can notice the process and how it's being executed. So once it's done, I will get back to you. So the Docker containers, Docker images are pulled, and now it's time to start the infrastructure. So note, first start should happen without the frontend, at least for now. In the future versions, this could be resolved, but for now, you have to start in production-like setup, so-called. You can see it here. So please use DC command. Also notice we have this remove orphans flag added, and this is because sometimes if you are rerunning the infrastructure or trying to recreate it, you leave this flag, you don't add this flag, and then the front-end container, which is present in development setup, could continue running. This is not what we want, so we will run the dc up-d -- remove orphans. Yep, so I will paste in the command. Oh, sorry, not this one. I will paste in the command. It's dc up-d. Here we go, and it's looking like it is starting. So it's created the infrastructure. Let's see if it's okay. So all containers are currently up and running. Let's see what we can do is wait until the infrastructure starts. So how to see when it's ready? Use the app logs command. So just run it, and you will see that it will show you the latest 100 lines of the application container logs. And what we can see currently is that it's installing the composer. So let's wait until the following command output, notice ready to handle connection, will appear. This would indicate that the installation has been successfully completed, or the start has been successfully completed. So here we go, we're done. The application shows us that she is ready to handle the connection, and as you might see, the first initial setup took us 191 seconds to start, so around 3 minutes. Well, let's check what we should do next. It's to access the website. Very good. So to do it, we need to open the favorite browser of ours. Currently I'm using the Chrome, and I go to scandipwa.local, and let's see if it works. Well, I can see that my certificate is not imported correctly, and the certificate invalid command shows to me. Let's check on HTTP. Will it work? Looks like it's loading something, but you will notice that the information which will load won't correspond to what we have on demo, except it might, but it should not be. It currently looks like this only because I already have the MySQL imported once. So I had a previous installation, it's kind of reusing it. If it's not cache, of course. Let's see if it's not cache. It looks like it's not a cache. So here we go. Let's see the uplogs command, and the uplogs means shows us that the application is ready to handle the connections. Let's go to scandipwa.local, and we can see that it's loading, and it shows us that the connection is not private. That's because the certificate is not correctly imported, or the Chrome has cache. So we need to restart Chrome, but for now let's go to HTTP version of the website and wait until the application responds. As we understood, if we ever see the notice ready to handle connections in our console, this would mean that the application has been successfully started. Well, let's check what we had there. So I write up logs, and I should see somewhere above it. Oh, you can see, yeah, but somewhere above it I would get this notice. So good. Now let's try to open this up. So scandipwa.local, it opens as not secure, and it throws some error. Well, that's expected because we don't have a demo content, but first things first, let's try visiting the HTTPS. As it seems, it opens for us, but it's important that if it does not or throw any errors, go to settings, go to search for certificate, open the authorities tab, and here click import. Then select the CA-PAM, which we had imported, and it should work fine for you after that. So you reload it and it works. For me, I don't need to reload because I already have I should already have, let me see, in my certificates I will already have ScandiPWA somewhere here. So believe me, it's here, and this is why I'm not getting this error. Very good. So now the home page is empty, there is nothing in the menu. What should we do? Well, we have two options. The first option is we can import the content from the demo database, or as option we can use the simple sample data to propagate the information in our database. In our setup, it is recommended to use the dump, because currently it's the only way. So let's do it using the dump, only way described in documentation. I'm stopping the application container, then I'm dropping existing database. So let's wait a little, and now I'm dropping the existing database. Here we go. As you may see, the password is scandipwa, and I will tell you later where you can find passwords from and manage those passwords for your setup. And now it's time to import the latest SQL file. This is the dump of the demo, but of course it won't contain stores, so it's just one single store setup. It will contain demo products. And after this is completed, we will run the force recreate command. Well, the command is completed. Now I'm pasting in the force recreate script, and it should start my containers. So I will wait until they once again start up, and then we will see if we get the correct information. So what could be the next steps? As we can see, it's getting the media files. So we'll need to download the media from the S3 bucket. So I click here and it starts downloading. As you may see, it will take a little bit of time. While it's downloading, let's see what we have in the force recreated. We have force recreated the environment. Now let's see the logs of the application container, and we can see that it's now running. Hopefully it will successfully install. So the media was successfully downloaded, and we can see it here. I will unzip the file, or I would say untargzip file. Inside we can find the media. So let's select it and let's click extract and choose the path to our project. In my case, it's my project, ScandiPWA base. Then we go to src pub, and here we have the media. So we should select this folder and click extract here. And I will say replace all to the files. Now the copying is in progress, and while it's in progress, let's check how is our application doing. So it has been restarted. We can see that it's ready to handle the connections. It seems like the theme was successfully built, and I cannot see the errors on the first glance. So let's reload and see if we'll get the different data now. The extraction was completed successfully, so let's see the files which were extracted. Yeah, we got pub media, and here all the files for products. Yeah, very good. And as expected, on the local scandipwa, we got our demo database, and now we can click on multiple categories and browse them. Notice the category loading is a little bit slow. It takes around 3 seconds to load. Why? This is because how the products, configurable products, are treated in current version of Magento. So we are working on improvements, and I believe in the next or coming versions of scandipwa, the configurable products will load the same quick as the simple products. So currently the difference for the category page with simple products, it's 0.5 seconds. For a category with configurable products only, it's around 3 seconds. So it's a big difference. Yeah. Now we got our demo. So we had some issues with certificate through this path, but sometimes there are more complex issues which might arise. So to resolve them, I recommend you going to this link, ScandiPWA FAQ page. Let's go there. So this FAQ page contains a lot of answers to different questions, to the most common questions. And if you guys have some issue which can be reproduced, you can contact us in the community chat of ScandiPWA, where we will update the FAQ and we'll try to provide you the best solution to your problem. So here is the algorithm, how you debug the issues which you face. The first one is you open the FAQ and try to find your issue there. Second is you join the community chat, the community Slack, and write to the PWA tech channel there, and most probably me or somebody from our community will answer your question. And finally, you can also create an issue on the GitHub page, but it might take a little bit more time to answer you there rather than in community Slack group. That's it for scandipwa.local setup, and I hope it was pretty useful for you. Thank you guys, and see you in the next workshop.